Hi everyone, how are you doing today? Hope you are doing good. I'm Kirsty and welcome to my quarter year crisis book tag. This is a tag that was created by Roisin and I will link her below. And I was tagged very kindly by Charr over at Thoroughly Enjoyed Books, who I will also tag below. And essentially this is kind of reminiscent of the mid-year crisis and the end of year book tag, where you just sort of run through where you're at the quarter year. And I quite like these tags because it lets me just do a bit of a check-in on my reading. It sort of helps me to re-establish my goals and reflect a little bit more in depth on what I've currently read for the year. I'm not very good at doing tags though. I do have a load of tags that I want to do. I just never get round to them because I have other videos. I've got my laptop here with the questions because I didn't want to write them all down. So this has 9 questions and I should probably have my core pile loaded so I know how many books I've read. You might remember from when I set my goals, which I will link above, that I gave myself the target of 80 books for the year. So question 1 is how many books have you read so far? And we're currently on the 12th of April as I film this, so second week of April, so a little over a quarter of the year. I'm currently, excluding DNFs, because I have had 2, I have read 29 books. Which, compared to this time last year, I think I was only on about 12 books and I was like, ah! So to be on 29 books, and I've got at least 2 that I will also get finished this week, I think it's safe to say that I am on target for my 80 books, and I honestly can't believe that I've read 29 books. And I'm just like, oh, okay. But then again, that's kind of the downside of having a month and a half of unemployment, and even though I am now employed, I don't work full time, and depression and mental health. So I've not been doing my usual hobbies, I've not been running my business, and I've not been writing, so that's why I've been reading a lot more. My equipment arrived today for my business, so I'll be restarting that soon, so I should be a lot busier after Easter. So that will probably slow down a little bit, but I'm still definitely on track to hit that goal. So number 2 is, have you already found a book that you think is going to be a yearly favourite? Or if you haven't quite read a book that you think might become book of the year or your favourite book, have you found one that's pretty close? And what's your closest book? For me, at the moment, I am going to say that it's a toss-up between The Love Hypothesis and Silver Silence by Nalini Singh, which was a reread for me. Those 2 are, I've only had about 4 or 5 stars this year. Those 2 are up there. Silver Silence, can do no wrong. It's my favourite book in the Psy Changeling series. And The Love Hypothesis just really hit me at a time that I needed it. I have also been reading another series that book 2 was almost 5 stars, and if book 3 and 4 are as good or better, and people say they are, that one's probably going to shoot to be book of the year. But yeah, I would definitely say it's a toss-up between The Love Hypothesis and Silver Silence at this current moment in time. Question number 3 is, have you read any 1-star books, or what is your least favourite book of the year so far? And I'm going to get so much hate for this one. I don't think I've had any 1-stars. I've had a couple of DNFs, but there are no 1-stars. But my lowest rated book so far this year is House of Sky and Breath by Sarah J. Maas. I only gave it 2.5 stars. And it's because even though I adore Rune, I will die for Rune, also Ethan, I just adore those 2 and their dynamic and their storylines. The main plot, I hated. I didn't like the smut. I thought it was cringy and tacky. I do not like the main characters very much. I don't get them. The plot didn't really seem to be going anywhere or doing anything. And the ending of the plot really pissed me off because it went in a direction that I absolutely hate in books, and also means that I have, like, there might be things that come up in the future that I just don't understand. And that pisses me off because it's like, I don't want to have to go and read an entire library of someone's books when I'm not interested, just to understand a few things that might be coming up. And it just, no, it really infuriated me. And considering House of Earth and Blood was my book of the year last year, it was a bitter disappointment for this one to only be 2.5 stars. Most read genre so far for number 4. I think we all know it's fantasy. Like, I have been reading more and I have been trying to branch out, but if I look on my reading stats, I can see that 55% of my books are fantasy. So that's still very much my forte. However, the one thing that has changed is this last year I read something of those fantasies, something like 60% were YA. This year it's something like 80 or 90% of my reads have been adult fantasies. So I seem to be shifting gear more into the adult over YA. We then have number 5, a book that surprised you. Now, I have a good surprise and a bad surprise. So the bad surprise, as we already know, is House of Sky and Breath. I didn't expect to hate that quite so much. I was super excited for it, and I couldn't wait to get into it. A book that surprised me in a good way was Only a Monster by Vanessa Len. I got this as an ARC and I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was even though it was YA, it kind of had darker themes in there. And even though it included time travel, which typically I'm not a fan of, the way that it was done was really good and it was explained so well. And it had an ending that kind of left me gasping and wanting more. And yeah, I kind of picked it up not really expecting much and could not put it back down again. So that one was definitely a surprise. And that was actually, I think, my first 5-star book of the year. Let me just check. Oh no, it was my second 5-star read for the year. And yeah, it was really good. Question number 6 is a book that came out in 2022 already and I haven't had a chance to read yet. There can only be one, and that is Gallant by V. Schwab. I am desperate to get my hands on this book. I did pre-order both the Waterstones and the Forbidden Planet editions, as well as ordering the regular edition. So I had 3 editions on pre-order. Unfortunately, due to the release date falling around the time that I was waiting to start my new job, I wasn't able to afford them, so I've not yet been able to get my hands on any, and I missed out on getting the special edition. So I cried a little bit when I realised, but you know, these are the sacrifices you have to make. I can't wait to get into it. As you guys know, V. Schwab is up there with Nalini Singh for me in terms of favourite authors. I can always find something that I love about her writing, so yeah, I really want to get onto that. Number 7, a goal that you made that you're succeeding at. That goal for me would be to listen to at least one audiobook a month. Last year I kind of had a couple of months where I read 2 or 3 in a month, and then I'd go 3-4 months and not read a single one. Whereas this year I've been way more consistent and I've managed to listen to, I think, only 1 a month, but I have been trying to really use my audiobooks and get through some of those. So I have managed to hit that goal every month so far. I have read an audiobook and I'm very happy with that. Number 8 is a goal that you made that you need to focus on. I was literally thinking about this just yesterday, and I realised that I haven't read any of my Fairyloot books for about 8 months. The last Fairyloot book that I read was These Hollow Vowels, and I read that in July or August last year. So it's been about, 8 months since I last picked one up, and I used to read them monthly. Like, I used to do the read-alongs, and then when COVID hit and there was delays with the books, I sort of forgot to do that. And then now it's just kind of like they go on my shelf, and then unfortunately I had to unhaul and sell quite a few of them. But yeah, I realised I haven't kept up with Fairyloot at all. I think I've still got one book upstairs that's about 1.5 years old by now. So that is one goal that I set for this year, which was to try and read a Fairyloot a month, and I haven't. So I do need to get onto that. And then the final question for number 9 are new to you booktubers, bookstagrammers or booktokers that you recommend. Now, I only joined TikTok about a month ago, so I'm still working my way around. And even though I follow a couple of BookTok accounts, I don't follow them enough that I actually can remember their names. So I apologise. Same with Bookstagram. I don't like the way that Instagram's gone lately, where every time I post I just get comments that are like, promote it, promote it, promote it, promote, and I am so sick of it that it's put me off wanting to post, which means I then don't go on it. But Booktube, people who are new to me, we all know my kind of guys that I've been with a while, but the new ones to me that I've only discovered in the last few months, you've got Val at Literary Papier, who I am going to also tag in this, and I will link below. All of these I will link below, and consider yourselves tagged if I say your name. Charlotte at Clumsy Charlotte, she came onto my radar about 6 months ago, and it wasn't until like this year that we've really kind of gotten close and started talking a bit more. There's Chelsea at Chelsea Zhao, who again, about 5 months ago that I discovered her channel, but it's been mostly this month where we're buddy reading together that I've kind of started to get to know a lot better. We've got Danny at Danny's Book World. She's a Scottish booktuber. She reads mostly historical, like that's like her jam, but I really enjoy her reading sprints. She does reading sprints with friends and they're really funny and really good, and she's really lovely. And then the final one I'm gonna go with is Olivia at Olivia's Catastrophe. She's one who I've actually followed for about 2 years now, and I've been aware of her for a couple of years, but it was kind of like every now and again she'd pop up on my recommended on YouTube. It's only been in about the last 3 months that I've really started to watch her videos and start interacting with her stuff, and I just really love her. Like, I just really love her and her channel. So those are my 5 like new to me / who I think you should follow / you are now tagged in this tag, and I apologise if you've already been tagged. So yeah, that is my quarter year crisis tag, and quite honestly I'm not in crisis, which is weird. It's probably the one area of my life that isn't falling to pieces. So yay to books and Booktube for keeping me semi-sane. Yeah, let me know in the comments if you've done this tag. Leave a link below and I will go and look at your tag. Let me know what has been your least and most favourite book so far this year, and one book one book that you are super excited to get to that either has or has not been released this year. Thank you, Charr, for tagging me. Thank you, Roisin, for creating this tag. I look forward to doing it again in a couple of months' time for the mid-year freak out, which I probably will be freaking out a little bit more at that point. But until then, I'm going to keep on reading, I'm going to smile, be happy, and I would say enjoy the sun, but the sun is not out today, and enjoy the doom and gloom that is my life. And go back to writing. So, hope you're good, hope staying safe, and until next time, see ya!